Hello. Blind Pew here. Well, we've got something very interesting here. A Thargoid monitoring post from humanity's past. As usual, we have Chief of Engineering, Ben Gunn, on board.
Hi there.
And, still temporary, Communications Officer Jed Munoz, also on board.
Well, hello there, exploration fans.
From what we have been able to ascertain, this is a monitoring post set up just after the last Thargoid war, to act as an early warning of their return. But something seems to have gone wrong. Very wrong, Jed. There are a number of data points. Scan them and play them immediately. Let's hear the ship's log.
Sure, I'm claiming first discovery though, you know.
Project Equinox monitoring log. December 27, 3155. It's been nearly 5 years since the end of the war, and there's still so many questions that haven't been answered about the Thargoids. But first and foremost on my mind is this: where did they go? It just doesn't make sense. The whole purpose of this program was to monitor for any signs of a resurgent Thargoid presence, but since 51 there's been nothing. Zero. Nada. Zilch. You'd think even as badly as they got beaten the first time around there'd still be sightings on the fringe. Crackpot lone explorers reporting octagonal ships in some far-flung corner of frontier space. But so far, every single Project Equinox monitoring station hasn't even caught so much as a wake signature or a whiff of thruster exhaust. I think the others are starting to ask the same questions too, whether or not Equinox is even necessary at this point, especially with the cooperative stretched as thin as it is. I don't know, maybe I'm being paranoid, maybe they really are gone for good. I sure hope so, for all our sakes. Cassandra Lockhart.
GCMW Archival Reel number 0503. Watch the skies. The Galactic Cooperative of Worlds Presence. Watch the skies. Although the war against the Thargoids has ended in victory for humanity and the Galactic Cooperative, the octagonal menace is still not something we can take lightly. As the vanguard of civilized space, it is the duty of all Galcop pilots to remain ever vigilant against this continued existential threat to the galaxy. Even now, Galcop's scientists are hard at work developing newer, more advanced technology to monitor threats and keep us safe from this extraterrestrial menace. And the ranks of our space forces are growing every day to meet any enemy that may cast a shadow across civilized space. But we still need heroes, pilot heroes like you. Only by banding together as a unified front can we continue to ensure a brighter future for everyone in the galaxy. Remember these words of wisdom: ask not what your galaxy can do for you, but what you can do for your galaxy. Find your local Galcop recruiter today.
Encoded transmission detected. Unit 01. If you're receiving this, then I've got good news and bad news. The good news is the contingency worked. The bad news is the contingency was necessary. Before everything ended, Dr. Lockhart from Project Equinox managed to track me down. All the data in this archive, all their findings, you're going to need it for what comes ahead. The whole galaxy is going to need it in all likelihood. By the time you've gotten this message, me, Izzy, and the rest of the Thunderchild team will be long gone. And I'm sorry, I truly am. We've given you an enormous responsibility, one you never asked for. Listen, we all make mistakes. I'm not going to pretend that the cooperative didn't collapse for a reason. We watched the hopes and dreams of generations before us crumble in the face of political infighting in the decades following the war. But out of everything we got wrong, out of all our failures, you weren't one of them. Whatever happens, I'm proud of you. We all are. Julian Lyons.
Project Equinox monitoring log. August 16, 3172. They're shutting us down. After all this time we finally have a breakthrough, and they're shutting us down. How in the hell can the Federation and Empire be so short-sighted? It was literally under our noses the entire time. The Thargoids didn't leave. Not all of them. At least if we had more time we might have been able to run a more detailed analysis, but the data we have right now already paints a pretty grim picture as the Thargoids are sowing the seeds for their return. We couldn't detect them before because the traces were so minuscule, but it's clear that these new self-repairing alloys that are starting to pop up in labs everywhere share an alarming amount of physical characteristics with Thargoid bioalloys pulled from their ships during the war. This is the smoking gun, and no one is willing or able to do anything about it anymore. The Federation won't listen, Duval won't listen, and Galcop has fractured to the point where even the old worlds probably won't listen. Maybe the Thunderchild could have done something, but they went dark in '69. We're almost out of time. Cassandra Lockhart.
My word, that was key information, wasn't it? It sounds like there was a Project Equinox, tasked with monitoring for Thargoid return. It is strange, however, that this Project Equinox's Unit 1 is located on exactly the opposite side of the inhabited bubble to the Pleiades, where we now see the return of the Thargoids. Was it that the previous war was from an attack on the far side of the bubble, or were there enough Project Equinox monitoring posts to form a sphere around humanity? Who knows, perhaps that will become apparent if we can find more, perhaps someone receiving this transmission. What does seem apparent is that there was a parallel project called Project Thunderchild. This seems to be some sort of weapon which may have been effective against the Thargoids. But it is said that team went dark a long time ago. What happened to them? We can speculate. Some of the information relating to the Thunderchild project sounds to have been provided to Dr. Cassandra Lockhart in the Equinox project, but she did not seem to hold out much hope. I've read War of the Worlds, so if it is anything like the Thunderchild there, we may as well discount it. Ultimately it sounds as though after the last war the Thargoids completely disappeared, and by that I mean completely, no trace at all. As a result the monitoring carried out by Project Equinox was cancelled. Dr. Cassandra Lockhart of Project Equinox seems to have had a theory that the Thargoids had left because they had already sowed the seeds of their return. Somehow linked to the meter alloys. Perhaps, I speculate, connected to the barnacles, and how it appears those can grow into barnacle forests, and perhaps then into Thargoid structures and then into, well, that would be pure speculation. I'll reserve that for now. If anyone receiving this transmission has further information, or useful speculation, please let us know by leaving a comment. Ben, Jed, what do you think? Actually, bring us into dock over there, before you tell me. Well,
it actually sounds quite plausible to me, Pew.
Well, if you ask me, and you did, it sounds like the biggest crock of error that I've ever heard. But, if there is anything in it, you know, it will be going into my book, with Miss Frisk Discoverer.
And what is the working title of your book at the moment, Jed?
I'm thinking, how Jed Munoz discovered the Thargoids, the galaxy, and the meaning of life. But I may change that yet.
Well, with that I think we will end the transmission. Until next time, good luck commanders. And I'll see you out there.